Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited to share this block with you today. It is a super simple block that can be made with just um, big squares and little squares. It's called the Buckeye Beauty, I think is what this block is called. And all we need to create this block is 2 4 patches and 2 half square triangles. So let's get this started. I'm going to start by making my 4 patches. I have 4 matching color squares. I went through my scraps, got 4 matching color squares, 4 matching background squares. These are all at 2.5 inches. I'm going to make 2 4 patches using these blocks. Now, hopefully this will be a fast quilt block for you guys and for me. I am not a fast sewist, but we'll just see how it goes on these 4 patches. And this block can easily be chain pieced. So I love that also. So we're going to chain piece each of these 4 patches. Okay, using a 1/4 inch seam for each of these, sewing 1 color square to 1 background square. I didn't say that at first. My background square is a white on white, so I'm just checking to make sure that it's facing the correct way for this block. And then here's the last color square to a background square. Okay. So I'm going to cut these apart. I'm keeping 1 on there to serve as my leader for the next group of stitches. And you don't have to sew these apart if you're going to, since I'm going to put them in a 4 patch, I don't have to cut them apart, but I am. All right, I'm going to finger press these to the darker fabric. Okay, and then when the other one comes out, I will do that as well. Okay. And here is my 4 patch. Okay, and I'm going to put them with opposite sides touching and sew them together to create this 4 patch. Since I pressed both seams to the darker fabric, the seams should nest. So I'm just checking for that as I stitch as well. And then lining up the end. Okay. Now I'm going to let the 4 patch serve as the leader for this next piece as I take the other 2 patch off of the machine. Here's my 4 patch. Okay. All right, so here is my 4 patch. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to actually swirl these seams so that you can kind of see the seams turning in the direction that they want to go to. So I'm just going to push this apart. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't automatically come apart, you can take your seam ripper and pull out those seams up into the stitch line. And then I'm just going to smush it with my finger. And that's going to give me a flatter block once I go to press it. I'm going to press these all at the same time in just a minute. But now I'm going to take my my 5 inch squares. This is a color square, background square, both 5 inches. I'm choosing to keep the backgrounds the same, but you don't have to. I wanted to keep all of them the same, but I couldn't find any 5 inch squares of this in my scraps. And I could have cut it, but I just didn't feel like going through that. So my next step, I'm going to take this background square. I have it wrong side up. I'm going to draw a line on one diagonal from corner to corner. And I'm going to use these to create my half square triangle. Now, if I had considered it and thought a little bit more about it, I would have done this while I was making the 4 patches, but now I'm going to have to put something else in for the ender for this, just because I like to chain piece the whole thing. So I'm stitching on both sides of the line that I just drew. Take this off. I will go ahead and swirl the seams on this one, but I'm not going to go to the iron just yet. Okay, so there's the other one. And for I have an actual leader ender project going, so I will use this for my for this part, so that I can flip the my other squares around. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take this out and stitch along the other side of that line. Okay. All right. So now, actually, before I do that, before I go to the ironing board, I'm going to pull this out with another ender. And I'm actually making 4 patches for my Jacob's Ladder block as my leader ender for this project. All right, so now I'm going to take everything to the ironing board, and I'm going to cut on this line and get everything squared up. So I'll do that and I will be right back. All right, I have everything ready now and pressed. I did square up my half square triangles to 4.5 inches so that hopefully they match the same measurements of my 4 patches here. So let's see, I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit right there. Okay, cool. All right, so now we can put everything together and we're gonna sew it as a 4 patch. You can play with the design if you want, however you want. I'm going to go with this. Make sure I have it. So I have the triangles pointing in, and then the color squares chaining in the block. I will stitch all of these together. I'm going to put right over left and then do the center seam, and we will see the whole thing. let's see if it wants to. Oh, this one's going the opposite way. Okay. I kind of want to go that way. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Here is my completed Buckeye Beauty block. After I pulled this, or after I made it, I went ahead and grabbed a Jacob's Ladder block so you could see that it's the same units, just put together in a smaller version. And I thought about this after I looked at the Jacob's Ladder. If I had rotated these blocks so that the color touched up at the top, it would give it a slightly different look. And I wonder if I would have liked that better. But you can turn the blocks any way you want to, I think, for this quilt. Same with the Jacob's Ladder. It doesn't really matter the way that you turn it. It's quilter's choice. But I do like this block if you are interested in, you know, making these simple units and you don't want to use 9 blocks, you just want to use 4, or your scraps don't line up quite the way you think they should, you can make the Buckeye Beauty block. If you have, hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial. Really quick block, really fun. I like the way it turned out. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, leave them in the comments. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.